Magandang araw mga kababayan, saang sulok man kayo ng Pilipinas sa mundo. New normal na. Manatiling safe, sane, and healthy. Ako po si Joanne Zozobrado.
We will be talking about the latest happenings in the industry, issues, goals, objectives, kasama ang ating mga industry leaders and experts. Kay Quintos po at your service.
And I would like to invite all of our viewers, kayo po lahat na nakikinig at nanonood ngayon, to share your suggestions, your opinions, your learnings, kung ano po ang inyong mga saloobin habang tayo nagkukwentuhan at nagtutulungan para po sa ikabubuti ng ating mga OFWs at sa ating industriya. Ako po si J. Fernando at kaisa niyo po kami dito sa
Dayo Buhay OFW. Fellow recruitment agencies, OFWs at kababayan, just let us know what other topics you want us to discuss here and who are the government leaders you want us to invite here at Dayo. Just message us at our email address at pasei.info@gmail.com.
Inaanyayahan namin kayong lahat na makisali at makishare sa aming kwentuhan. I-click, i-like at i-share ang ating social media accounts, PASEI Facebook, PASEI YouTube, and PASEI website www.pasei.com.
And in this episode, meron po tayong mahalagang kamustahan. We will be talking about the pre-departure orientation seminar that is moving online. And we have our very own special guest, POEA Administrator Bernard P. Olalia. Huwag po kayong alis, babalik po kami. Welcome po, admin. Maraming salamat po sa pagpapa-unlock niyo sa amin dito sa show na to ng PASEI. Welcome po.
Maraming salamat din po. Ako po ang nagagalak din at naging bahagi ako ng inyong anniversary at dahil po katuwang ninyo kami at katuwang natin ang mga private recruitment agencies at saka licensed manning agencies bilang napakahalagang partner ng industriya. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat, admin. So, hindi na po tayo magpapatumpik-tumpik. Admin, we just want to get your initial assessment. Kamusta, ano ba po ang tingin nyo ang current status ng overseas deployment, overseas work for the Filipinos? Kamusta ba po ang lagay natin even with this pandemic?
Yeah, alam natin na itong pandemic na ito is an unexpected event during this 2020. Nobody was prepared for this eventuality. Lahat po tayo nagulantang nang dumating ito noong March 2020. Pero gayon pa man po, tayo po sa POA, pinapaghandaan natin ito. It's a work in progress as we go along in discharging our mandate to help the overseas employment industry. Masyado pong naapektuhan ang ating deployment. Bumagsak po yung deployment natin. Buti pa ngayon, ngayon pong pagpasok ng August at September, medyo nakakaangat na. Unti-unti na pong umaangat ang ating deployment at ito po ay dahil sa patuloy na pagtutulungan lahat po ng nasa sektor ng overseas employment, lalong-lalo na yung mga partners natin in the industry, katuwang at kasama natin ang mga PRAs po at saka ang ating mga LPs.
That's a very good news, admin. Ano po, na parang ever since the pandemic, medyo, sabi nyo nga, August and September, medyo nakaka-recover na tayo. Now, ang pagkakaintindi po natin is, syempre, meron tayong, kumbaga, it's not business as usual.
Yes.
So, ano po yung mga bagong regulations o bagong pamamalakad o policies or processes ng POEA na ini-implement po ngayon at tinitignan implement para po to adapt to the new normal?
Okay. Tulad ng nasabi mo, talagang dapat talaga we have to adapt to the new normal. Ito na yung magiging patakaran natin at isusulong natin sa mga susunod na buwan, siguro at taon na darating. Unang-una dito, we have to recognize and observe yung mga safety protocols natin sa industriya. Kinakailangan we should be in sync and coherent with the policy of the national government to provide health protection to all of us. Lalong-lalo na po sa ating mga modern day heroes, yung mga OFWs natin. Pangalagaan natin sila at hindi lang yung kanilang economic reasons kung bakit sila pupunta sa abroad, kundi pati rin yung kanilang health dapat nating intindihin din. No? So dito po sa POA, in anticipation of all these new norms, nag-launch po tayo ng mga napakaraming online platforms in order to observe yung mga protocols for health at nang hindi ma-impede yung processing ng ating deployment. Dahil po sa nangyaring pandemic po, alam natin na meron tayong mga safe protocols. Hindi po natin pwedeng mag-converge ang napakalaking mass gathering dito sa PUA. Alam niyo ang ating clients dito, every day prior to the pandemic, 5,000 ang ating ine-entertain. Hindi na po pwede yun ngayon. No? So nag-launch po tayo ng appointment system sa ating mga iba't ibang frontlines dito. Nag-launch din po tayo ng tinatawag na deposit system ng mga documents po ninyo. No? Yung mga may mga pagpupulong na orientation kung tawagin natin. No? Nilaunch na rin natin yung online platforms. For example, for the panel interview ng mga aplikante natin sa licensing. Doon naman sa CP deck natin or yung continuous educational program na orientation program natin for the officers and members ng mga license agencies natin, ginawa na rin natin online yun. So, in other words, we strive to continue discharging the functions of the POA coherent with its mandate in the sense na nire-recognize natin at ina-observe natin yung protocol for this new normal.
Maraming salamat po. And it's very heartwarming to know coming from you, Admin, na talagang, it's not just the economic situation ng mga workers ang kailangan nating pangalagaan ngayon, but we are also focusing on the safety and the health issues as we pursue this economic
Right.
And it's wonderful to know that the POA is moving online and trying to find creative solutions during this time. Ano ba? Okay, so given that, Admin, alam natin, sabi niyo nga sa umpisa na medyo mababa, medyo bumagsak ang recruitment industry. But you also mentioned August and September, nakikita niyo na nagpi-pick up. Yeah. Meron ba pong, saan niyo po nakikitang mga klase ng trabaho o kaya mga destinations ang mga nagpi-pick up ngayon na pwedeng makita natin or makita ng mga aplikante natin, ng mga OFW natin, na pwedeng opportunity rin po?
Right, oo. Unahin natin sa seafaring industry, no? Hardest hit natin yung tinatawag nating mga cruise ships, no? Yung mga seafarers natin na nagtatrabaho sa cruise ships. Lahat yan, 100% halos tumigil lahat yung ating seafarers na sumasampa sa mga cruise ships, no? Napakarami ng mga nirepatriate natin na mga seafarers from that particular sector. Pero yung kanilang mga other seafarers na involved doon sa mass transportation of goods, dahil alam mo naman, ang maritime trade depends on the yung maritime industry depends on the movement of goods sa ating mga vessels, mga outgoing sea vessels. So yung mga bulk carriers natin, cargo carriers natin, yung ating mga oil tankers natin, patuloy po yung ating operations dyan. So we continue to deploy our seafarers to these ocean-going vessels. No? Kaya nga po tayo nag-implement ng tinatawag na joint circular for the crew change. This includes the embarkation and disembarkation ng ating mga seafarers. No? So, patuloy po yung pag-increase na ngayon ng deployment ng ating seafarers. So, doon naman po sa land-based natin. No? Ang greatly affected naman dyan, yung mga sa hotel industry, tourism industry, personal care. So, karamihan po dyan, talagang sila yung nirepatriate natin ng mga OFWs natin. But, the other side of the coin, lumaki naman po ang demands. For example, doon sa healthcare workers natin. Nangunguna dyan ang nurses. Alam natin, if not for the temporary suspension of the HCWs, siguro napakaraming mga nurses natin ngayon ang magtatrabaho abroad. Yung ding mga work related to IT, no? Isa rin yan sa in-demand ngayon. No? So, while nagkaroon ng deployment decrease or decline sa ibang sektor, yung ibang sektor naman natin umangat. So asahan natin sa mga darating na araw, lalong-lalo na pagka nag-ease na yung travel restrictions at saka sa lockdown, maaaring bumalik na sa normal yung ating deployment.
That is good to know, admin. Even if some sectors are affected, meron pa rin tayo mga opportunities that are available to our overseas Filipino workers. With regards to destinations, admin, yung mga lugar na pwedeng pag-applyan, ano po yung mga lugar na nakikita nyong may opportunity pa rin or may mga opportunity pa rin para sa mga workers po natin?
Alam nyo ngayon pong pandemya, patuloy rin tayong nakikipag-coordinate sa ating mga labor attaché in the different polos around the world. No? At katulad po sa polo natin sa US, no? May sinasabi po sila na may boom ng construction industry sa isang lugar doon sa kanilang jurisdiction. And they are requesting kung papaano po yung process ng accreditation ng mga principals who want to hire and recruit OFWs. No? So yung construction industry ng ibang lugar, for example sa US, may mga nagtatanong na po dyan. No? Yung pong ating domestic workers din, although we do not promote yung deployment ng ating HSWs, nako, marami rin pong nagtatanong dito sa Asian countries natin. Yung HCWs sa Europe, at saka sa Middle East, ang dami rin pong nagtatanong na countries na kung paano sila mag-hire ng mga nurses at saka mga other HCWs. Yung isa nating country na mayroon tayong BLA, Bilateral Labor Agreement, no? Nagtatanong din kung paano sila mag-hire at tayo naman magde-deploy ng caregivers doon sa kanilang bansa. So, marami pong interesadong mga destination countries ngayon ang nagtatanong ng ating mga OFWs, instead na huminto ang deployment, lalo naman kung maraming opportunities tayong tinatanggap.
So, admin, just to end this segment, meron lang po akong huling tanong. So, ano po ang tingin niyo pwede nating mapagtulungan between POEA and PASEI in order to take advantage, to have our workers, our applicants and everything to be able to take advantage of these new opportunities? Sabi nyo nga, meron mga sumusulpot po. Ano po ang pwede nating mapagtulungan? Ano po ang pwede naming maitulong para po ma-take advantage natin itong opportunity?
Opo. Tayo po sa industriya, kinakailangan natin ng konting flexibility sa panahon ng pandemya, no? So instead of, alam naman natin, ang mandato, isa sa mandato ng POA is to regulate the industry. No? Sabi ko nga sa officers ko, you know, hindi ito yung time na i-regulate natin or i-over-regulate natin ang industry. Dapat magkaroon tayo ng forbearance sa regulation. Ang ibig sabihin, we have to be flexible in our operations. Lalong-lalo na doon sa sistema kung paano tayo nagproproseso ng mga dokumento, doon sa mga proseso kung paano tayo nag-accredit ng mga foreign principals without giving up yung namang side ng OFWs natin, nandiyan pa rin yung intention natin to protect and promote yung kanila pong welfare. So, sa parte po ng POA, we try to be very flexible as much as possible. Kung maalala po ninyo, nagpasa po kami ng governing resolutions allowing the PRAs to withdraw yung amount in excess of the 1 million escrow deposit. No? Subject to certain conditions. Tutukan natin yung industriya dahil naghihikahos, ang dami pong nagsasarado, ang daming nadidisplace na mga workers, ang mga agencies natin. So, isa yon sa ating ipinasa. No? Meron din po tayong tulong sa mga OFWs natin. Nagpasa rin po ang POA ng Governing Board Resolution para po i-strengthen yung monitoring responsibility ng PRAs at saka yung reporting system ng mga OFWs na affected ng pandemic, no? Lalong-lalo na yung OFWs na hindi po na-deploy, no? So, yan po yung atin. Binabalansin natin yung interest ng ating industriya. Tumutulong tayo sa OFW, tumutulong tayo sa PRAs, tumutulong tayo doon sa mga affected nito pong pandemya.
Maraming salamat po, Admin Olalia. We are very happy about your statements, about ano tawag dito, yung initiatives natin to be able to help both the industry without necessarily forgetting all the other sectors. Kasi po importante naman yun, hindi lang naman isang sector ang importante rito. Medyo lumalaro tayo, ang gobyerno. And I think I would like to reiterate the commitment of PASEI and of the industry in support of your initiatives, both to protect our OFWs and to promote the Filipino worker abroad. Magbabalik po tayo.
Welcome back. We are still with the Philippine Overseas Employment Administrator Bernard Olalia. And right now we will be discussing what the overseas employment industry would look like 2021 and beyond. This pandemic has changed our ways of living, our businesses, even our employment domestically and internationally. So let's try to see beyond 2021. So let me start with my questions with Admin Olalia. First would be, what do you think, Admin, is the likely scenario when there's already an anti-COVID vaccine or cure? Do you think there would be an immediate influx of work for the Filipinos?
Yeah, of course, no. We're looking forward of the development of a vaccine that will suit and prevent and protect our population, especially our dear OFWs. Alam po natin na yung mga OFWs natin ang maapektuhan pag meron na pong vaccine. Ano? Sila po yung dinedeploy natin abroad. They will be exposed to the elements, no? Lalong-lalo na yung mga HCWs natin, yung healthcare workers natin, dahil they are the frontliners, no? Sila po yung in demand ngayon at kinakailangan po ng kanilang protection. So hopefully, pag meron na pong vaccine, mamamanage na natin yung how to contain and prevent yung spread po ng COVID-19 dito sa ating bansa.
And I understand, magiging more confident din ang ating mga OFWs in terms of accepting job opportunities abroad.
Yes, po.
What do you think, Admin, would be the business as usual for overseas employment in 2021 and beyond, given after this pandemic?
Well, after the pandemic, I suppose we will return to the old pre-COVID scenario, no? Sana, ang ibig kong sabihin, robust ulit yung ating deployment, nandiyan ulit yung mga destination countries natin na tumatanggap ng napakarami nating OFWs. Alam po ninyo, prior to the pandemic, halos 5,000 to 6,000 OFWs po ang dinedeploy natin araw-araw, no? And that means halos 150,000 to 200,000 OFWs per month, no? Pero nagulat tayo during the pandemic, bumagsak po ng single or hanggang 2 digits yung ating deployment per day, no? So, there was a time na naalala ko 98% yung decline ng ating deployment. So, hopefully after po ng pandemic ito, yung industriya po ng overseas employment, dahil ito po ang napaka-importante, ito po ang bubuhay sa ekonomiya ng Pilipinas, ito po ang sinasandalan ng karamihan ng ating mga OFWs para tugunan at suportahan yung kanilang pamilya, maandiyan na naman po yung ating industriya.
Yes, I'm pretty sure a lot of our fellow Filipino workers are looking forward to that time when everything becomes quote-unquote normal again. Yeah. So as this early, Admin, what do you see would be the new parameters of workers being sent abroad in terms of qualifications, maybe health conditions and stuff like that?
Yes, as we try to address this pandemic of COVID-19, we try to go along with the rules of protecting, continuously providing support in the protection of the health and safety of our OFWs. No? We would like to include, for example, in their employment contract on the protocols to observe safety not only in the workplace, no? But also to remind our employers of their responsibility to protect and, for example, repatriate our workers after the end of their employment period safely from their destination countries. Yun po yung ating goal dito, no? Ipapadala po natin yung mga OFWs po natin doon na malusog at kaya po nilang gampanan yung trabaho nila with the observation na tutugunan ng mga employers yung mga kapakanan ng ating mga OFWs at sila po ay makakapagtrabaho doon in the workplace safety and healthy at makakabalik po sila to join again their families back home in the Philippines.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for that, admin. Okay, last question. Like what you mentioned earlier, medyo bumagsak ang deployment natin of OFWs. Actually, maraming nagbalikan sa Philippines because of this pandemic. What is POEA's roadmap to recovery, admin?
Yeah, speaking of our roadmap, this is a work in progress. Even before the start of the declaration of ECQ, no, we already have our plan for the POA. I recall when we were in Pampanga, we tried to talk on the launching of online processes, no? Especially so as to accommodate the big number of clients that visit our offices, no? So kahit po nagkaroon ng lockdown, no, hindi po masyadong naapektuhan yung pagpoproseso ng deployment ng ating mga OFWs, no? Apart from the launching of online platforms, we try to be flexible in our regulation. Marami po tayong proseso dito na kinakailangan ng regular processing tulad po ng renewals ng license, renewals of accreditation, revalidation of JOS. And we all knew na napaka-tedious ng proseso, no? Using our regular scheme of renewals, no? Pero dahil po sa pandemic, what we did is we extended the validity of licenses, we extended the validity of the accreditation, we extended the revalidation of the JOS with the least effort ng mga PRAs po natin. Minded of the fact na meron tayong susundin na health protocols at saka yung pong responsibility natin to the OFWs will always be put. Ibig sabihin, bibigyan po natin ng importance.
Right. Oh, that's good. That's good to hear on the roadmap to recovery of the POEA. And I think also it's an opportunity right now to have or to put forward yung ating mga reintegration programs, not just for the OFWs who come back, but basically for their families, because I'm pretty sure admin na aalis din yung mga yan because of the opportunity, no, job opportunity. But then it would be good to have some kind of programs, government programs currently for the families of these OFWs na nagsiuwian, so that there's something that they can always go back to then. So do you have any idea of what the government is looking into in terms of reintegration programs or whatever livelihood programs there are available for the families of these OFWs who came back? And likewise, we know that they may be going back to their respective countries again after this pandemic, but at least their families, kasi ano na yan parang lesson na natin yan na kailangan palaging we think ahead, meron dapat ganyan. Otherwise, nawalan sila ng trabaho, bumalik sa Pilipinas, lahat walang income. So that's a lesson that was a lesson for us.
Yes, you're right, no? And most especially during the pandemic, nagkaroon po ng maraming lockdowns and travel restrictions, and most of the foreign employers closed shop, no? Nagsarado po yung mga negosyo. That's why we had a lot of repatriated OFWs. Yung po mga umuwi natin na OFWs natin o yung naiwan po sa site waiting for further development kung kailan mag-i-ease yung lockdown at mag-o-open ulit yung mga businesses, binigyan po ng napakadaming programa ng Department of Labor and Employment. Nandiyan po yung AKAP program ng Department of Labor, wherein lahat po ng na-displaced na OFWs natin were given a one-time financial grant of 10,000 pesos or $200 US dollars, no? At napakarami po ng nag-benefit doon. Doon naman po sa mga OFWs natin to return back home, no? During the repatriation period, the OWA, yung pong NRCO nila, provided for a lot of programs. Meron po silang tinatawag na livelihood financial programs, meron po sila ng educational scholarship programs dyan, no? Tumutulong po rin ang ating iba't ibang ahensya in coordination of course with OWA on how to promote yun pong livelihood programs din ng ating pong NRC.
All right. Thank you very much, Admin Olalia, for all the information you've provided us today and the plan of the POEA to give more opportunities, job opportunities for our fellow Filipino overseas workers. We'll be right back.
Tayo po ay nagbabalik at meron po tayong kwentuhan with our special guest, Administrator Bernard Olalia of the POEA. Admin, I would like to put you in a spot a little bit, and I want to get your perspective. Kailan nyo po, alam nyo po, pinag-uusapan natin yung pagbabalik with the new normal. I just want to get your personal perspective. Tansyan nyo po, kailan kaya tayo medyo babalik? To a certain sense of normality. Tansyan nyo lang po.
Alam nyo kasi ang setting sa Philippines naiiba. The Philippines is a labor-sending country. Unlike other countries na kung meron man, kakaunti yung pinapalabas nilang mga citizens sila para magtrabaho abroad. Pero dito sa Pilipinas, halos 10 million yung mga Filipinos who are working abroad. Ito pong 10 million na ito, umuwi po ito ng Pilipinas. So kahit po siguro makontain natin yung COVID-19, yung pandemic sa ating local front, dito po sa ating bansa mismo, dahil we continuously deploy overseas Filipino workers and we continuously accept the repatriation of our OFWs, magkakaroon po ng instance ng COVID-19 kahit po nandyan na po yung vaccine. Ang importante po yan, yun pong overseas employment industry natin will be able to respond effectively and efficiently to this kind of situation. Kaya po kami sa POEA, we look forward. Ina-anticipate na po natin yan. Yung mga protocols po natin for the protection ng OFWs natin, that's our priority. Yung mga protocols natin and flexibilities natin sa regulation insofar our partners are concerned, like po ng PRAs, we are mindful of that. Yung mga engagement natin sa lahat po ng officers, sa lahat po ng offices, government offices like OMWA, DFA, yung TESDA, PRC, in order to help the overseas employment, we are mindful of that also. So, ang ibig ko pang sabihin, this is a whole of government approach in order to contain and arrest ito pong pandemic na ito. We are hoping against hope na soon as matapos po yung pandemya, sana next year po, maging normal na po tayo. Pero we are also mindful of the fact na there will be a continuous deployment of OFWs, there will be a continuous repatriation of our OFWs, meron pong aalis, meron pong uuwi, kaya andyan po yung danger, andyan po yung opportunity na mag-contract. But we are ready for that.
I love the forward thinking, Admin. So before we close and before we thank you for your time, alam namin napaka-busy nyo. Baka meron lang po kayong mga parting messages of encouragement or parting messages to the industry, to the OFWs, at yung mga OFWs that are currently employed, and yung pong mga aplikante na naghahangad pa rin na we would just like to hear a few words personally from you to these sectors po.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity, Jay, and to PASEI. First, let me greet PASEI a happy 40th anniversary. Thank you for the invitation and for giving me the opportunity to enlighten the industry on overseas employment pagdating po during this time of pandemic. Tayo po sa POEA as a regulatory body, tutulong po tayo sa ating mga affected sectors. Alam natin na naghihingalo po ang overseas employment industry ngayong pong pandemic. This is the time to help all the sectors involved. Nangunguna na dyan ang OFWs natin. Marami po sa mga OFWs natin ang nanghahangang umuwi. So in the repatriation process, kailangan po nandiyan po ang OWA, DOLE, POEA. Providing them livelihoods during this displacement period of the pandemic, napakahalaga po. Sa sektor naman po ng ating mga ahensya, alam po natin, marami pong nagsarado, marami pong nagtanggalan ng mga trabaho, marami pong nangangailangan ng help and assistance. Andyan din po ang POEA. We are providing a lot of flexibilities in our regulation. we continue to amend the POA rules in order to manage our industry kung paano po makakatulong ang ating POA sa mga license agencies natin. Pero tutulong at tutulong po tayo with the end in view of lahat po ng sektor ay dito sa industriya ng industry ng overseas employment industry natin ay iaangat natin dahil po alam natin na itong pandemic na ito wala pong sinisino-sino. So, yun lamang po at maraming salamat po sa amin.
Maraming salamat po, Administrator Bernard P. Olalia. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagpapaunlak sa amin.
All right, we will now talk about the new normal ways of doing business with our overseas workers. And to talk about that, please welcome our PASEI President, Ms. Raquel Bracero.
Yes, because we all know that the safest and the most economical way to do business right now in this pandemic is online. And one of the things that we do as part of the deployment process is what we call the pre-deployment orientation seminar as required by the POEA and as required by the Department of Labor. And so we want to discuss with the President Raquel because one of the services of PASEI is to provide the pre-departure orientation seminar for our departing workers. So President Raquel, welcome back. And we would like to ask you, what is this online PDOS of PASEI and how is it different from the normal PDOS?
Okay. PASEI had been a PDOS provider for quite some time already. Before the pandemic, there were two venues for our PDOS, one in Manila and one in Pasig. Now, during the pandemic or during the lockdown, PASEI had brought to or made a proposal to OWA because we knew that after the lockdown there will be deployment. So to prepare for that, we requested and sent proposals to OWA to conduct the PDOS online. So we sent the mechanics, and it's good that OWA decided for that, and PASEI's mechanics were the basis of OWA's PDOS. So right now, OWA had an advisory to all PDOS providers, and there are mechanics to be followed. And for the online PDOS, we only allowed 80 participants, but with the 80, only 78 will be the attendees. The two slots are for the OWA staff as observers. So, well, at the start, there were only few, but right now, we've seen already the increase. So right now we have two times we have in 1 week. No, there are 2 times we do the PDOS, online PDOS. Now, what are the issues or topics in that in the online PDOS? It's just the same as the one on face-to-face, no? Only because there is COVID, it was added. So what are the topics? One is, there is about the culture of the host countries. Second is, there is financial literacy, in order the OFWs will know how to handle their money, no, which is very important. And then also we tackle the employment contract, so the OFWs know their rights, what are in that contract, and also what the most important are the values that are incorporated also. And also they are trained to, or given the different agencies, if ever they have problems in the host countries, who are the agencies that they can contact. These are the topics that are very important because we know that there are distressed workers, maltreated workers, and one of the advocacy of PASEI is the anti-illegal recruitment and anti-human trafficking. So during the PDOS, it's being tackled so that the OFWs knows their rights. So in the online PDOS, it is also, these topics are also discussed. So the only difference between the face-to-face PDOS and the online PDOS is that now they have to have their Zoom app, no? And because according to OWA and the IATF, there should not be face-to-face PDOS. So that's the reason we have this online PDOS.
Want to discuss about the mechanics, costings, and how the OFWs would have to avail of the PDOS online.
Okay. Okay. The mechanics is they have to register the agency. The agency has to register their OFWs 3 days before the schedule of the PDOS, online PDOS. And the fee is 100 pesos. And this fee should be paid by the agency, not by the OFW. So I just repeat it. The fee, which is 100 pesos, is being paid or to be paid by the agency, not by the worker. Now, and then during the, before the online PDOS, there is a registration, and that registration should be done by the agency, not by the OFW. PASEI doesn't accept direct PDOS, only through the agency. Why? Because we have to know if it is legitimate. Because you do not know if the worker directly goes to PASEI. We don't have any control about it. So it should be coming from the agency, and the ones that are sending PDOS to PASEI are not only the members, but also non-members, and not only land-based, but also sea-based. So meaning PASEI caters land-based and sea-based workers. And after they attend the online PDOS, the certificates, original certificates are being sent to the agency, not to the worker. So it means that the worker shall get the original certificate from the agency. And also, babala po ito sa mga OFWs na yung certificate is not sent through email. It's not acceptable. OWA doesn't approve it because meron po yang seal at may control number to avoid yung mga scam. So if pagdating sa LAC makikita na hindi original, it's not acceptable. So at least our OFWs must know that hindi po pwede na through email yung inyong certificate. It should be original with the stamp if it's from PASEI, stamp ng PASEI, and there is a control number. So that's the reason sometimes nagsasabi na merong hindi tunay o hindi valid na certificate. At sasabihin na ang galing ito sa PASEI. Because we have the control number, we can check if it's really coming from PASEI. And we have the stamp. So usually we check the control number and we check the stamp. If there's no stamp and no control number or different control number, it means it's bogus. So that's there are some mechanics that controls it. So ang PDOS ay hindi basta-basta. Kasi may iba ho kasi sinasabi, PDOS lang yan. No, it's not. And the content of the PDOS ay pinag-aralan yan na ano bang magandang ilalagay ng mga topics na nakakatulong sa ating mga OFWs. And ang session ng PDOS is 4 hours to 5 hours. So, hindi ho 2 hours. Pinaka maiksi na yung 4 hours. Depende ho kasi yon kasi meron po talagang question and answer portion. Hindi ho po pwedeng isa lang yung nagsasalita na yun lang facilitator. So, kaya kailangan talaga na merong interaction. So, that's the reason yung haba ay between 4 hours to 5 hours. And hindi pwede na kung sino-sino lang ang pwedeng mag-conduct ng PDOS. Our PASEI facilitators are accredited with OWA. And also our PDOS actually IOM always use our PDOS modules, no? Because they find it na maganda daw yung ating modules, no? But then that modules is based also or coming from OWA. So so far sinasabi, especially this time ng online, kasi palagi yung pumapasok talaga yung mga taga-OWA at nag-o-observe. And the feedback that we got from OWA, ang PDOS ng PASEI is done very professionally. No? So we're happy to hear that because lalo na this is the first time, but it's very fortunate na maganda yung ating paggawa ng ating PDOS. So again, PDOS is one dahil advocacy natin yung anti-illegal recruitment, human trafficking, dito sa PDOS dinidiscuss din ito para malaman ng mga workers what are their rights, lalo na pagdating nila sa mga host countries. At sinong mga agencies, government agencies na kanilang kukontakin pagka nagkakaproblema sila dun sa host countries. That's the reason PDOS is very important, or pre-departure orientation seminar is very important, because from there they will know where to run to pagka nagkakaproblema sila. Magkaroon ng maltreatment. Yun po.
So, just to summarize, maraming salamat, Tita Raquel, for that information about the pre-departure orientation seminar. No? We recognize that it's a very important part of the deployment process. So, just to summarize, basically, the PASEI PDOS is open to hindi lang PASEI members, it's open to all non-PASEI members. It has to go through the agencies. Hindi po tumatanggap ang PASEI ng individual applicants. It is all done online. The agency should register 3 days before the schedule. There are 80 slots available, but only 78 slots are available because 2 are reserved for the OWA observers. The certificates are mailed to the agency.
Yes, original certificates.
The original certificates, it is very important,
Yeah.
Very important that
Yes,
it's the original certificates. And that the PASEI PDOS is actually accepted and recognized by OWA and has the blessing of OWA. Tama po ba yung summary ko?
Yes. And it is being recognized by IOM. the international organization.
The International Organization for Migration. Just for our
Yes.
viewers, DIOM is the International Organization for Migration that is
Yes.
under the auspices of the United Nations.
Yes, and
So medyo,
reminder also that the 100 peso fee is paid by the agency, not by the worker.
oh yes. O nga
Right,
pala.
that's good. And the schedule.
Ah.
The online PDOS schedule is, I think we forgot to mention the schedule.
Yeah,
I think the schedules
Yeah.
are twice a week
Twice a
right
week.
now, no?
yeah, twice a week, no, depending on the numbers. So, but usually at this time, we are always fully booked. So it means that there are already many agencies who are deploying, because when we started it, we only have once a week, and we only have like 20, 30, but now we are fully booked. So it means good for our economy, that because there are already increasing number of deployment, and most of these are sea-based actually, and then healthcare workers, those with contract before March 8th.
Mm.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Thank you very much, PASEI President Raquel. If there's
Thank
anything
you
else you'd
also.
like to share with us.
Well, we look forward to our members to have deployment, so that our PDOS will also, attendees will also increase, and it means if there are PDOS attendees, is like it's a gauge that our economy of sending OFWs are increasing. So if you
Yes,
wanted
that's right.
to know, kung meron bang deployment na nangyayari dito sa ating industry, look into the PDOS attendees. Then you will see that ito pala, ganito pala kadami, or ganito lang kakonti. Yun. So, napaka-importante yung PDOS, because no one can go or can leave without attending the pre-departure orientation seminar per PUA regulation.
So thank you very much po, President
Thank
Raquel.
you.
And I
Thank you,
salute
thank you.
you and PASEI for taking the initiative to, recognizing that during this new normal, we are going to move online, and taking the initiative to have this program approved, and basically pioneering and developing the mechanics. And hopefully, like what you said, we should move from twice a week. Pag the moment na araw-araw na ulit na may PDOS, alam na natin that
Yes.
Economy is picking up.
that the economy is picking up and the deployment of workers are still happening. And we look forward to that day, and we look forward to always partnering with PASEI and the PDOS. So thank you very much po.
Thank you.
Babalik
Thank
po
you.
kami. Alam niyo, ladies, I am so encouraged with that conversation, both with Admin Olalia and with President Raquel on the online PDOS. Lalo na yung sinabi ni President Raquel na pag dumadami na yung PDOS, alam na natin that the industry is recovering and that our kapwa Filipinos are now being deployed. And Admin Olalia's outlook for the Filipinos going abroad. Sabi nga niya, I think this one, the pandemic is going to be over, and there's always light at the end of the tunnel and a rainbow after the storm. Ano say mo, ma'am?
May tama ka, Jay. There's always rainbow after the storm. What's important is magtanungan tayong lahat na makabangon ng ating industry. And also, very important din na hindi maniwala sa fake news at hindi maniwala sa kung ano-ano pang fake. Kami dito sa PASEI at Dayo Buhay OFW ay totoong totoo. Right, Joanne?
Yes, may tama ka dyan, Kay. So I'm inviting everyone to share your thoughts and inputs, like our Facebook account in PASEI and our website www.pasei.com.
Tuloy-tuloy po ang ating usapan at ang kwentuhan dito po sa Dayo Buhay OFW. Mag-iimbita uli po tayo ng ating mga guests, mga special guests at mga OFWs na nasa ibang bansa. Samahan niyo po kami sa susunod na episode namin. Ako po, si Jay Fernando.
Samut-sari ang ating mga topics na magpapalawak ng ating mga kaalaman and likewise will empower us as recruitment agencies to work hand in hand and make sure that we continue helping our fellow Filipinos as our mission. Ako po si Kay Quintos.
Salamat sa pagtutok at pagsama ninyo sa amin dito sa Dayo Buhay OFW. Paalala lang po, pwede nyong balik-balikan ang aming episodes by visiting PASEI Facebook account and PASEI website. Ako po si Joanne Zozobrado at your service.
At kami po, ang inyong kapartner, kapase at kaisa. At ito po ang
Dayo Buhay OFW.